Have you ever wondered how networking is managed on a Linux system? Do you think it's all done manually? The answer to that question for me, that second question, was when I first started in Linux was, yeah, it seemed like everything was done manually. Just the way that Linux had been portrayed as something as overly complicated and manual. Well, the answer to that actual question is no. And the answer to the first question that I asked is if you're using a modern Linux system, you are most likely using Network Manager. Now, according to Wikipedia, Network Manager is a daemon that sits on top of the device manager udev and other kernel interfaces and daemons to provide a high-level interface for the configuration of network interfaces. Now, it was introduced by Red Hat back in 2004 to make dealing with networking much easier, especially when it came to wireless. Network Manager has a lot to it, but don't worry, it's not as complicated as you think. This is B from Tay Talk Tech, and today I'm going to introduce you to the wonderful world of Network Manager. Stick around. I have a favor to ask. If you like this type of video and want to see more content like it, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell button for notifications. Also, don't forget to give this video a like if you like it. Let me know what you liked, didn't like, or if you have any comments, questions, concerns, or emotional outbursts in the comment section below. And lastly, stick around all the way to the end to get the most out of this video. Let's do this thing. Alrighty then. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start with talking head, and then we'll actually get into the actual Network Manager process. So in this video, I will be covering how Network Manager works generally. I do plan on doing additional videos going into more detail on using Network Manager, so be on the lookout for those. Let me know what you're looking to know more about after this video so I can make sure that I can cover those in future episodes. Now, Network Manager actually runs as a systemd service. So actually, I'm going to go ahead and shrink my face down here real quick, and I'm going to get out my system, my virtual machine here. On this one, we're actually going to be using the KDE spin of Fedora. And I'm going to go ahead and show you a couple things here. And I'm going to leave this at this font. I'm sorry for you all on mobile devices. You may want to zoom in. I do need to keep it this size just because some of this output has a lot of information and I want to try to give it capture as much of it as I possibly can. So thank you for your understanding. All right, so the way that you can actually check the status of of Network Manager is systemctl status Network Manager. Now make sure you capitalize that because it is capitalized for Network and Manager. And there we go. We can actually see here that it is indeed currently running. And here's some more details about it. Main process ID, tasks, memory being used, CPU, all that good stuff. So yeah, we can actually see that it's up and running on this system. Now, if you want to go ahead and actually interact with Network Manager, and just to get a understanding of what interfaces are configured, is you can do nmcli, which is the Network Manager command line interface. So here we go, and this is going to go into like what is it, less? Where you can actually see here where we've got the Ethernet interface, we've got a loopback interface, and it's got the DNS configuration. So just like with less, is you can actually go through pages by hitting the spacebar or go down individual lines by hitting the enter button. We're gonna hit back. Let's see, there you go. That's how you can get through that. And this right here is honestly within this system. It's giving me all the information that I need. It's telling me about this. It's telling me about this device. It's giving me information about its IP address. Information that's going to be similar to when you're doing IP address command. So it gives us that, and then any of the other devices that are located here, it'll give you more details on those. Now, right now we only have those two. We're going to be plugging in a device here in a few minutes to go ahead and just kind of show you what things look like once we actually get there. But I did want to go ahead and introduce you. This is a super powerful tool. This video is not going to show you how to use this. If you've watched some of my other videos, especially like the virtualization ones, I have used this interface before. So, again, let me know what type of stuff you're looking for to see out of how to configure in Network Manager. So that's stuff that I can go ahead and make sure that I try to include in any future videos. Now, let's go ahead and actually talk about how it actually works. Now, the Network Manager it's going to work with the dbus as well as udev to detect to detect and configure network interfaces when plugged in. Now, the dbus is an inter-process communication mechanism. UDEV is a device manager. We're not going to get into any more detail than that just because of for simplicity purposes. Now, all connections on a system are going to be treated as plug and play, or as if the device had just been plugged in into the system, which makes it easier on the system. If it detects an existing connection during startup, they are treated as if they were just plugged in to the system after boot. This approach detects when a network device is connected and then sets it up without the user having to manually configure. And that's what you'll see when we actually plug in the device. You'll see it actually kind of gives it like a default basic configuration. So, all right, now let's go ahead and start talking about the actual process that it goes through. All right, so I went ahead and just put this thing up here just so you can kind of, so you guys can follow along here and just kind of simple steps here. All right, this is going to be the process that it goes through, very, very simplified. Now, the UDEV daemon recognizes and creates an entry for the interface cards connected to the system. So that's going to be this here, and that's that device manager that I just mentioned. Then, after that, the dbus then informs NetworkManager a new device has been connected. It's like, yo, hey, NetworkManager, like, yo, dude, I got a device here for you. Is essentially what's happening there. Then NetworkManager responds to the dbus traffic by creating a configuration for the new device. That's kind of like that basic configuration that I just mentioned. And with this configuration, it's actually going to be stored in RAM only, and it's not going to be permanent. Now, that's what's happening right here. See, and then, yeah, see, here's what's happening here. Is it's, as I kind of stated here, see, NetworkManager uses the dbus to initialize each network device. That's what it's doing, is it's giving it that default configuration. Now, once it does that, is it's going to go ahead and search in a few different locations in order to see if there is indeed a configuration already provided. And we're going to go ahead and look at this here in just a few minutes, as I'm actually just going to go ahead and actually take you into that Fedora system. We're going to go ahead and look at all this stuff, but I wanted to be able to show you that there's a few different actual locations that you can actually check for configurations. Now, if you're on an Ubuntu system, it's going to be etc tac network. In Debian system is going to be etc network /interfaces. In Red Hat Enterprise Linux or Fedora, it's going to be the etc sysconfig network scripts location, and then the etc network manager system connections. This is where network manager defaults to. So that's where it's going to be looking for those configuration files. Now, if no configuration file is found, a configuration file will be generated from a DHCP server. Now, if a DHCP server is not available, it's not going to be able to make any kind of connection, and the device is just going to sit there and be like, okay, well, I'm here. Let me know what you want me to do, and when you're ready, and when you need me to do it, coach. That's essentially what's going to happen here. So, all right, so let's go ahead and actually start looking at this in action. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take this off screen here. Second, we're going to come back over here. We're going to get rid of that. All right. So let's go ahead and start looking at a few different things here. So I'm going to show you the two locations here on Fedora is etc sysconfig. And then these are going to be system. What? Whoops, I'm sorry, network scripts. I was going to the wrong one. Sorry. There we go. We're here in the actual default location for a Fedora system, ls. There is this one right here. That comes on every system for Fedora, so we're not going to really get into that. But this is the location that they would be in. Now, if it's going to be in the default manager location, it's going to be network manager, and then it's going to be system connections. Here we go. We go over this file, this location, and here we go. We've actually got two of them here. There is this one right here, and then there's going to be this one right here. And let's actually go ahead and take a look at this file. Cat enp. Oops. Let's go ahead and do a sudo. We need to do that. Sudo. And see here, we've got details on this device. So here we go. Given a CUID. Ethernet timestamps. This right here is this just says that it's getting its from its IP address from DHCP, and then here is it's auto generating this UEI 64 one. We're not getting into that, but it also says here that method auto, which is also getting its IPv6 address from DHCP. So yeah, and this you can configure a bunch of different stuff. This isn't a video on configuring these files. Maybe something that I actually do in the future, show you how to configure one of those from scratch. So make sure you're on the lookout for future Network Manager videos. I've seen it a few times already in this video. So all right, so those are the locations where they're going to be housed. We're just going to do the CD back to our home directory. All right, and one of the cool things is, just real quick, is MCLI, is that I like this because it gives me easy information about my DNS server right here. It tells me right where it's at. It's right here. It's like, hey, dude, this is where your DNS is at. So that can be super, super helpful. But let's go ahead and actually start talking about what happens when a device is connected. All right, so let's do udev. And I always forget it's udev admin or ADM, and it's going to be monitor. And see, one of the, I think it's this one that doesn't generate a lot. I think it's the dbus one. So let's go ahead and look at these individually, right? So let's go ahead, we're going to come up here. We're going to come into the virtual machine. We're going to come up here. We're going to come to this. I'm going to add this wireless card. Boom. See, here you go. And now we can see that it's like, yo, dude, we can see it right here. We can see that device right here. This is all like, different stuff that the system understands. But we can see here, one of the things that we're going to go ahead and actually look at right here is this one right here. See, that right there is going to be its device. So let's come over here and see here, it's actually connected to my home network. All right, see, and you can see that there's a couple different IP addresses here, one for this one for this one. Every network device will have its own IP address, its own MAC address, and all that good stuff. But let's go ahead and close this out. What I need to do here is, I could do this from there, but I'm going to just do it this way, is I'm going to disconnect. And I'm just removing this one. And I'm just doing that from the GUI. And when you're doing it from the GUI, it's going to do it all from behind. It's going to do it all behind the scenes using Network Manager. I just don't want to get into that. It's going to extend out this video. But I wanted to show you something a little different here. Because, see, here we go. Before, this one was green. I didn't really point it out before, but if you're paying attention, it was green. But now it's showing here, and it's showing disconnected. And this right here is the same device as right here. Now, what we're going to go ahead and do here is we're going to clear this. We're going to come out of this. And this is basically like it continues to update. So you'll have to actually get out of there with Control-C. But this allows you to see all of the udev traffic going on. Right now, there's not a lot that's going on. Now, this next one, we're actually going to start working with the dbus. And with the dbus, because I'm using a virtual machine, there's all sorts of crap going on, right? Because it's creating virtual stuff. So it gets a little crazy. So we're going to have to kind of pay attention here. We're going to use command dbus tac monitor. We're going to do show. I'm sorry, whoops. We're going to do monitor. I'm sorry. What we need to do here is, I probably should have done this before. We're going to get rid of this wireless card. We can actually see here if we just... Where's that thing at? Free desktop. Yeah, see Network Manager, System D. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, this is it disconnecting the device. And see, we can see here, if you look at that right there. I don't want to get into what all this stuff means, because I don't even completely understand it myself. But we can see right here is where it's actually, this is the device that it's talking about. So let's go ahead and clear this out. We're going to add that device again, and you're going to see something similar. It might give me an error, It does that sometimes. So let me go back in here. Let me close out of this. And let's come back in here, and then let's do it again. Oh, but we know what we're going to want to do first. Let's do that. And all of a sudden, it is not wanting to cooperate. There we go. Okay, cool. Yeah, and we're seeing this again here, right? Like, and it's saying it's showing us this, and if you actually look at the output that we'd had previously from the dbus, is you'd actually see it also referencing this. So this right here is letting us know it's like, hey, look, here's this device, and it's helping facilitate that. And we can see that it's communicating with NetworkManager and all that good stuff. So I wanted to show you that. Now there's an additional way to do this. Let me go ahead and just I'm gonna let this sit for a second because maybe that'll fix it. We're gonna look at journal CTL, which allows us to query systemd for log information. We're going to use journal CTL, TAC U, to go ahead and specify that we want network manager. And then we're going to go ahead and come in here. We're going to do TAC B, and then we're going to do a pipe, and we're going to do tail 15. The reason we're going to do tail 15, and you know what we need to do here though is we're gonna use another command here. And if you've watched some of my videos before, you've seen me use this command. We're going to use the watch command because we want to basically what we want to do is we want to be able to see. We're basically saying, hey, watch, show us the journal CTL TAC U for the network managing server from boot, which is this TAC B, and show us the last 15 entries from it. And what watch is going to do is it's going to refresh that every 2 seconds, at least by default. So, and when you're setting these up, when you do it, you'll want to put them in parentheses because you have spaces. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to have to shrink this down. Oops. We're going to shrink this down. Sorry, guys. Just because it's going to give us quite a bit of output. And I want to be able to have them all on the screen here. So again, you know, if you're on a mobile device, I apologize. I recommend coming back and looking at this on a full size. So we can already see some stuff here that's happened. It killed, it disappeared. Yeah, we can see it referencing this right here. State change disconnected to unmanaged. And if we actually go over here and check in MCLI again, we're going to come out of here. We don't see it here. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and let it update every 2 seconds. And we can see here that it's timing down. So right now we don't see it there. So let's go ahead and add this thing back. Hopefully it doesn't do that stinking error thing. And it's doing it. That's okay. Let's go back up here and do this again. It's something that I can control. It's just the way it does it. There we go. And you start seeing it right there. See? See right here starting at 13. There we go. And if we come over here, we're now seeing that it is disconnected. And if this were the actual command, you would see this one in red and these two in green, but we don't have that right now, so we'll have to kind of result on this. But I wanted to be able to show you that this is how it's actually going to show up. But, you know, this is going to give you a lot of information about what's happening. Wi-Fi P2P device created, you know, supplicant interface state internal disconnected. You know, it's just giving us information about this. So I wanted to be able to kind of show you the behind the scenes of how this is happening as it's happening. So yeah, when I first started learning about IT, it really helped me to dig into the topic, you know, just to understand how they work, especially at the very, very tiny levels or, you know, granular levels. It does take a bit more research to do that, but, you know, I end up learning a ton, and it's, you know, it's a really sweet reward to be able to have all that knowledge and experience and things like that. Now, if you like this video, make sure to check out this other video from my channel. Remember, mistakes make you better, so keep on making them. Thank you so much for watching my video, and have the greatest of days.